So, I'm not homeless, and that's cool. Getting an apartment was significantly harder than I expected, but it worked out. And I actually love the place I'm in, and let me show you around. This is the bedroom that I chose. There are actually 6 bedrooms in this place. They're all about the same size. They're all pretty large for places like this, and all of my furniture was included. I was lucky with that because it seems inefficient to buy furniture for 2 months. So that was really nice. Our living room is huge. We have a shared TV that we don't actually use that much, but we all wind up hanging out here. All of our roommates get along really well, so we kind of just hang out in this space a lot. I plugged in my Switch here, but we haven't really been using it that much. We mostly just chat and work together. We have a kitchen. We actually have 2 kitchens, but here's our main kitchen. We haven't been using the other kitchen, and it has kind of like a second living room area with a wood-burning stove and a table that we can all sit at, but we don't really use all that much. And there's this gorgeous balcony out here, which kind of overlooks the courtyard. This used to be a double apartment. You can kind of tell when you walk down the corridor because there's 2 entrances, 2 bathrooms, 2 kitchens, and 3 bedrooms on each side. So they must have just knocked down a wall in the center and gave us 2. This is our bathroom. It has this super common Norwegian style shower where it doesn't take up a whole lot of space and you can just kind of like close the doors and have more of a bathroom. The downside is you actually have to clean the floor with a squeegee after. You have to force the water down the drain and it tends to catch under the washing machine. It's kind of a pain, but it's a nice bathroom. It's pretty spacious. The only downside is you're sharing it with 5 other people, so that kind of sucks. We have the second entrance. Because we have the second staircase, we actually both entrances go out into this courtyard. So I was originally looking for an apartment near Grünerløkka, ideally, but since Oslo is so small, there's only so many apartments available, and all the students came in the same time I was looking, so it was really hard to find something available. But I wound up in Tøyen, which is over by Grønland, and I actually really like it here. Everyone is telling me that it's the Norwegian ghetto, but Norwegians don't know what a ghetto is, that's for sure. It actually has a ton of cheap food and a bunch of markets, and it's actually right by the police station and also the prison. One or the other, the police or the prison that's like directly behind me. There's tons of really cheap markets. There's a lot of really cheap fresh food and all these little ethnic markets and corner fruit stands, and it's pretty great for that, and it's not a fucking ghetto. I'm also right in between the T-Bane on 2 sides, which is the subway system. So I have the Grønland stop and the Tøyen stop. And they're both about the same distance, so if I'm going further east, I can go to Tøyen. If I'm going downtown, I can go to Grønland. The transit system here is amazing. It's just as available as in Chicago. The only downside is you almost don't even need to take it half the time because everything's so close in walking distance. It might take 20 minutes to get somewhere by train and also 23 minutes to walk there. I'm also right next to the Hyper Games and Krillbite office, which is pretty cool because sometimes I stop in there. When they have a desk available, sometimes I work there. And I'm also next to Jordal Skate Park and GSF skate park. I like Jordal a little bit better. GSF is very cool looking, but it's hard to skate there. I'll do a tour of the skate parks later. And I'm also very close to downtown. It's only like a 10 to 15 minute walk to get downtown, so that's super, super cool. Getting an apartment wound up being a bit more of a struggle than I was expecting. I really should have expected it to be worse, but I don't have a Norwegian ID or a bank account, so it was a lot harder for me to actually get a place. Actually, my first week here, when I took the cabin trip, I was trying to get that one apartment and the guy sent me a contract and then just took it away because he's just like, actually, this is gonna be way too much work. I changed my mind. So that was infuriating. I sent messages to about 20 to 30 different apartments and I only got to see about 6 of them, and this was the only one that as soon as I got here I was like, listen man, I really need an apartment and this place is gorgeous and can I just sign it right now? And luckily he was really cool, so he let me. I actually paid in cash, which is a little weird, but it worked out. But I only get to stay here for 2 months because the landlord actually sold the building already to someone else, and they're taking over the building in November, so we're all gonna have to leave by then unless we can talk our new landlord into letting us stay, but I'm not keeping my hopes up. So this place cost me 6,000 kroner a month, which is around 725 USD. So it's about the same as Chicago. It's a little bit more pricey, and this is the cheapest part of town. So rent prices are affordable if you look hard enough, but not normally this cheap. Things you should expect if you're going to look for this budget is you're gonna get a ton of roommates. If you want something this cheap, you will have lots of roommates. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Me and my roommates all get along really well, but you're gonna have to think about, if you want to shower every day, the shower is not gonna be open every day. Your schedules are going to collide and you'll all be cooking at the same time in one tiny kitchen. And when you wake up, somebody will be in the bathroom and you have to wait 3 hours to pee. It just happens. So having this many roommates is great socially, not great when it comes to practicality of actually getting shit done sometimes. Another thing I found when I was searching for apartments that I thought was really strange was that a lot of places don't have living rooms. The only common area is actually the one bathroom and the kitchen. Bathrooms are not common areas, but shared, yes. So apparently people don't really hang out, or they only hang out in the kitchen, which is pretty cramped. I also made it a little hard for myself to search because I wanted to stay close to downtown. So the way that Oslo kind of works is there's these highways that are called rings. So the first ring is like downtown central. It's like living in the Loop in Chicago. The second ring is kind of like living in one of the neighborhoods. That's where Grünerløkka is. That's where I am. And a lot of the cool neighborhoods are there. And then you get past the second ring and like the outskirts of the third ring are where you start to get farther away from neighborhoods. And then even past that, there's still a lot of places available, but that's like almost kind of rural. Not rural, it's like suburban, and I wasn't interested in looking that far. And even if you live there, it's only like a 20-minute train ride to get back downtown, but I'd rather just be in the middle of it since I have such limited time here right now. There's 2 different bars underneath us. There's a whole bunch of really cool stuff, so I'm glad I made that decision. I got really lucky with my roommates. I actually only have 4 roommates instead of 5 because there is another room. My first roommate is a Norwegian guy whose family is from Syria. My second roommate is a Serbian girl who's learning Norwegian and studying here. My third roommate is a guy from New Zealand who does landscaping work. And then my fourth roommate is another Norwegian guy who's here doing his master's degree. So we all get along great. And that's really lucky, especially since none of us knew each other before. In general, the move here has just been like any other move, new place, new people, whatever. But there are a couple of things that were like specific to Norway that I thought were really interesting and threw me off guard. The way the shower works, like the fact that the doors just kind of like close in and it just doesn't exist and you have to clean up after yourself with a squeegee, like that's bizarre. That's something I've never seen before. The bathroom also apparently has a heated floor, but I don't really know how to use it because there's just this little dial thing and then an on-off switch, and it doesn't really feel like it's working all the time. I also didn't know how to use the washing machine, which was really dumb on my part. There's only a washing machine, no dryer, so you have to hang all your clothes on a rack, which I've never done before either. And then for the washer, you only use like the powdered detergent, which I've never used before, and I couldn't figure out how to get the thing to work, and I had to be like, roommates, please help, and it was really dumb. But that's life. You are dumb sometimes and you get confused and you have to ask people to help you. Another thing that's really cool is since the weather is so nice outside, we actually don't use air conditioning at all. We just leave our windows wide open and there's no screens, and we don't actually have a lot of bugs in here. I only really notice bugs when people are cooking, and even then they go away pretty quickly after. So it's really nice to get that draft through the whole house where you open up all the windows on one side and the balcony door on the other side, and it's just like beautiful breeze all the time. The other thing that is really, really weird and specific to Norway is that nobody locks the f***ing door. I kind of yell at people about that and they're like, you're just overreacting, but I have some audio gear with me. And the fact that I just got robbed when I left Chicago, so I feel like I have a right to be paranoid. So that's about it for the apartment, honestly. I guess I just have a couple of general life updates. I've been traveling a lot, and that's really weird to me. I think I've done more traveling in the past couple weeks than I have in maybe the past year. I just got back from Serbia. I'm going to Dublin, Ireland next, and then Malmö, Sweden, and then probably some other places in Norway, and who knows where else. Other than all the traveling, I've been focusing a lot on networking and working on the current projects I have, and of course my visa. I have my visa meeting in late September, so I'm trying to get all of my paperwork together so that I can print it out and bring it to them, and hopefully it'll work. I'm not feeling super optimistic about it since it is a harder visa to get, but I am not giving up, and I'm just gonna try a different visa if this one doesn't work out, because there's no way they can stop me from moving here. Or at least Europe. The other thing is I was feeling like super overwhelmed for the past couple weeks, but things are starting to feel almost normal, but not like in a regular like, oh, this is just life now. It's more of a comfort with the fact that a lot of things are unfamiliar. It's a really interesting feeling of being confused and not sure, but also just being able to roll with it. So I think that's a really cool skill that I'm starting to figure out. I've also obviously been trying to continue practicing Norwegian because I do want to be fluent, but it's been so much harder to practice it here since it's everywhere. It kind of makes you have less incentive to actually sit down and practice it, because I could just talk to a friend, but then also when I'm talking to my friends, I'm too nervous to say anything, so I just gotta get past those barriers. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to say also thank you all for just, I don't know, coming along on this journey with me. It's been really cool, and I love sharing my stories with all of you. Maybe I've inspired someone to travel somewhere? I don't know. Either way, if you've been thinking about doing a trip for a while, I think you should just go for it. You don't have to leave for 3 months, but I think there's something really rewarding about leaving and just like throwing yourself into the unknown, and it's honestly, I could not ask for a more rewarding experience. So not to get too sappy, but if there's somewhere that you've always wanted to go to, just do it. Like, it's so beyond worth it. So yeah, I will continue to keep you updated, and I'll see you in the next video.